It's 5:05. I think we can get this party started now. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us here on a Wednesday afternoon to our talk, Joystick, the push and pull that molds us. It's a little abstract, but um, we'll get to that. So my name is May, and I'm a Friends of Figma New York City lead and also a senior UX designer currently working at UI. Very excited to be your host today. And this is actually the very first virtual event ever hosted with the New York City chapter. So if we run into technical difficulties, I apologize in advance, but let's hope that things move on smoothly. If this is your first World Tour event, this is not a standalone event. So we are actually part of the Friends of Figma 2025. And I see Pierre Luigi in the chat. He's actually the mastermind behind this whole initiative. It's a 24-hour virtual nonstop celebration of Friends of Figma community all around the world. Have 29 chapters, starting from Sydney, and I think we're ending West Coast. I want to say it's Seattle. So very excited to be part of this celebration. And the goal is really to kind of show how diverse we are in the design community and spotlight designers to give them a platform to share their voices, ideas, and creativity. And before we start, this session will be recorded and we will share this afterwards. And make sure you drop your questions in the Q&A. And I see Adrian is asking the question as well. You can find the Q&A tab on the bottom. See like a floating menu, chat, DM, Q&A. Just drop your questions in there. The best one will get a $50 Figma gift card. So make sure if you have anything that you want to ask, let me start it. And now you should be able to see it in the Q&A tab. Let me know if you have any issue accessing it. And feel free to upvote on the questions that you feel you strongly about or you resonate with, and we'll get to them in the order of the vote. And without further ado, I want to introduce our speaker for today. We have Yunhao and Chen joining us. Yunhao is a storyboard artist and director, and Chen is a product design leader. So very different role. But I would love for you guys to introduce yourself for a little bit. Tell us what your role is, where you're currently working on, and what's some project that you have done in the past that you're really passionate or proud of. How about we start with you, Yunhao?
Okay, yeah. Hello, everyone. My name is Yunhao. You can call me Hao for short. I mainly work in the entertainment industry, like video games, animation, film. I'm a storyboard artist and director, as May mentioned. Various clients, including Fantawild, Disney, Blizzard, Rooster Teeth, companies like that. I'm currently not working on anything. I'm preparing to move to Texas, actually. I'm going to start a new professor teaching job at Lubbock, Texas. So just chilling right now, which is awesome. Yeah. What else? Projects that I'm very proud of. Passionate. Blizzard was my first job. It's my dream job. StarCraft is the first video games I have ever played. So, I had great honor and privilege to work on the StarCraft 2 when I was there. So, yeah, one of them. Yeah.
Lovely. Chen, do you want to go next? I can't tell if he's frozen or...
I think there might be some internet issues with Chen.
Oh, there he goes. Maybe before he gets back, you want to maybe talk a little bit about what storyboard artist and like director, because I think most people in the audience are more familiar with like product design and UX design, maybe not so much what a storyboard artist or director job entails
Yeah.
of?
So my main expertise are in the animation field. So game animation and film is a little bit different. Director, we kind of imagine what his role is, directing the team, come up with the story, stuff like that. Storyboard is kind of a small section of in the pipeline. So we get the directions and scripts from either the writer or directors, and we sketch it up like the rough designs. And this rough designs has two purposes mainly. One is to test the story. Does it work? Does it not work? So we can preview the films. The second purpose is to direct the whole pipeline if the story is good. Then we would deliver the storyboard to different departments like modeling, animation, lighting, and they will use this as a blueprint for the film. So this is, to me, one of the most challenging and most fun job other than director. So that I take this as my career trajectory. Yes.
Awesome. And I see Chen is back. I think you got
Yeah.
frozen for a little bit and you dropped, but you want to do a quick intro?
The Wi-Fi in the office is actually tricky today, but I'm back. All right. Hi everyone. I'm Yi. I'm mostly a person working in the product design world, the tech world. So speaking about my background, I started from graphic design, and I get into this world since working for different companies like OnePlus, which is a label from Oppo. It's a Chinese phone brand. Later, I interned at Coda. I joined Duolingo like 3 years ago. I stayed there for 2 years, mostly focusing on monetization, growth, gamification, and such delightful experience that shaped my identity as a designer. And today I am the leading product designer at Neon. We are a direct-to-customer platform delivering payment and transaction solutions for indie and mid-market game studios.
Awesome. Thank you so much and welcome back. I think today's session will be a lot of conversation, kind of like a panel, and very chill, I guess, the vibe. And I do want to start with the first question. Since both of you work in a very, very creative driven fields, so either it's like art or just creative unhinged ideas. So how do you kind of navigate that, like creativity and like business goals? Or like sometimes you need to hit certain metrics at your work. So how do you do that? And maybe you can start with this question first.
I think this is a very interesting question, because typically when you go to like interview a company, they may ask you this question, which sounds like very interesting to me, and you kind of need to prepare that in a good way. But I think by answering this question in a good way, you kind of need to understand it in a good way too. So for creativity and business goals, I think it really depends on how you as designer think what design job is, because we need to go back to like why you are doing this job, why you are being a designer, why you want to design things. But in a business context, we as designers, we are supposed to support the business goals. So in my experience, creativity and business, they are not opposites. I think they are two sides of the same coin. And the key is to frame the creative decisions in a way that support business goals. I can actually share example I previously did at Duolingo. So maybe you guys know that Duolingo recently switched from the heart system to the energy system. But back to days when we have the heart system, the mechanics is more like if you make 5 mistakes as a free user, we will give you a drawer and urge you to either pay money to refill or subscribe to the premium plan, Super Duolingo or Duolingo Max. The challenge here is we definitely want user to subscribe because that makes huge money to the company. And so we as designers here, we are to support this business goal in a way that make user feel they are, it's delightful experience, and you want people to select this option. But there is a assumption that just because our plan is too expensive that people don't want to pay. That's why a lot of people, free users here, they will just quit this lesson. Imagine that from a user perspective. I'm doing lessons and I'm in a very focused mental state, and I see this drawer. So your first reaction is it actually interrupts me. And what do you want to finish at this time? You want to finish this lesson as soon as possible. But our previous assumption was our plan is too expensive. That's why people quit. So I frame it in a different way by only making a small change, which is the one you see on the right. Usually you have 2 options in parallel with each other, but I made the free trial Super Duolingo as the default option. And so you could just when you see the screen and you feel like we are confident that free trial for Super Duolingo is a good thing for you at right now. We believe in this. So you just hit try 2 weeks for free, like a no-brainer, just because it's pre-selected and it's primary CTA. So you can sign up for the free trial and continue your lesson. So in this way, I help the user achieve their goal, but also help the business achieve the goal too. So it end up increasing our subscription a lot, and we eventually launched that too. So that's why I think something here, I'm not doing crazy, like a new illustration, new layout, new screen for helping this. Definitely the ultimate goal for business is to move the metrics, make money. But as designers, you might have a different solution. You might do that differently. I think that's the part when we differentiate as individual designers, because we have different way of thinking, but using different way of thinking to achieve the same goal feels very interesting to me. And can you flip to next slides? Same as something I recently did for Neon. We are to improve the checkout flow. And for me, my way of doing this is, for the highest ROI, we just simplify the screen. We just show the most important thing to user, and we will get their buy-in, and they will place the order.
Just reduce the friction as much as possible for users to help them through the process. I love that.
Exactly.
How about
and that helps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yunhao, do you have any?
Yeah, I think to me this is a very interesting question. I feel like I've never been asked this question. In the world of animation, I would say in the good olden days, the business goal is quite simple and straightforward. Either you drive the audience go to the theater, or you drive them to watch it on TV. So there's not that much fancy sauce in this business goal. Like, oh, can we sell them more skins, cards, clicks? There's none of those. So as a creator in pre-production, my goal is to get the best story as possible, and basically reduce the budget as much as possible. And the first question, gets the best story, is one of the hardest tasks that exists, and even the best directors fail at this task. So we don't even get a chance to think about the second or third problem in the line. So our main focus is just to get the best story. And talking about cutting budget, the things are more tangible. This thing, a lot of times, easier to measure. Custom scenes, character counts, render, how much does it take? These kind of things, human powers. More of those are directors and producers' job. Like, my main goal is just to create a story that is compelling and attract audience, and engaging, and people can remember and wanting to rewatch it. To be honest, a lot of times I fail at this job, and I would say 90% of creators fail at this job because, yeah. So that's the craft I'm still trying to grasp. How can I be better storyteller?
That is very cool. That's very two different approach of achieving business goal. One is like, how do we make more profits? And the other one is like maybe creative ways to build out the animation that reduce the cost a little. So it's like two ways of kind of making profit or achieving business goals in these two industries. That's really cool.
But on
to
the
see.
other hand, I think maybe animation should think a little bit harder on how to make profits, because nowadays it's getting beat by TikTok and AI. So I believe my directors and producers are thinking long and hard about how to make more money out of the existing audience group, ROI, stuff like that. Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay, cool. I think that's a kind of a good segue into our next question on like how constraints, either business or technical, shaped your creative decisions in surprising ways. And the surprising can be good or bad, but something like maybe memorable for you. I'd love to hear a story behind that.
Yeah, I can start with that. I have all kinds of constraints, and business and technical. Basically that's to just producer comes to you, say I don't have money, and your artist comes to you, say I can't do it. Right. So how do you solve those issues? I think a lot of times we don't have money is not as big a deal, because you can do things in a lot of different ways. Actually, the limitation of the budget helps you focus on the goal. Like, what kind of story can you tell? How can you use a very limited amount of budget to tell this story, and help you rethink about the core of the message in your film and the animation. Technical parts is a little bit harder to solve. You really want this look, you really want this sky to be beautiful, the sunset, and your technical director would be like, oh, no can do, right? So either you research and find out better technical solutions. You can invest more manpower, better artists, or you just compromise your product. But to my surprise, I like in the entertainment industry. Before that, I only think, because why I come to the industry is not because of those mediocre contents, right? I love Miyazaki films, I like Disney films, but when I went into a company with so limited budgets and so tight technical constraint, I realized people actually have love for mediocre content. So for the content who has a little bit, it creates a little bit connection between you and the audience. That's something that they can see. Oh, maybe I try a little bit harder, I can make this too. So that could be a dream for them. Instead of Disney, it is so grandiose. The picture, every pixel perfect. You feel a distance between you and the screen. So that's a very surprising finding for me. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I actually
Chen, is there-
really love that part, how you said like you approach you kind of as a the creator to approach the audience and make them feel that they could do something like that too. I think that's pretty much the meaning of why many people still like do art, do animation, and do visual design in this commercial world. We want to show something good. We want to inspire people. We because we get inspired, and I think that actually applies to product design too. So for me, should I say my part on this? Yeah.
Yes, please do.
Yeah. So I know like when people talking about constraints, it feels very hard. It feels like we are on the 2D surface, so we cannot do 3D things. People may think that way, but from an emotional design perspective, I think everything we can see, everything we can control, everything could be magic. So other than doing product design work, I also design books. I also work on book project with some of my friends. So we know like the on different media how the constraints and how can you make magic from those constraints. So I think here I will bring another example. I work for Neo, which is the checkout customization. May, if you can flip to that slide.
So it's this one. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, we already have a structure for this checkout screen because there are a lot of things from engineering side we cannot change. However, there are a lot of things we can still change. So for me, we are I'm the only designer for the company, so I kind of have to take care of both marketing as well as product. So in this way, we want to pitch our potential customers the best experience they could have using our product. So we create custom themes for all different game studios to match their game theme, so the checkout experience feel more native to them, and it actually could move out of metrics for them too. So I think we are kind of like doing something fun. We are making magic under this constraint. But but when you first see this, you all like the many of the game developers say, "Wow, they've never seen something like this." But basically, we just change the color and some style, which is easily switchable from CSS.
Wow. And you create this for every like indie games that you partner with?
Mostly. Yeah, we are developing some, new dashboard feature for them to customize on their own. But for business pitching, we need to do mockups for them, or the game studios. They are not good at like customizing things because they don't understand how color system work. Maybe they don't have background knowledge for how design system work or accessibility. That part of design we will do for them, and I'm the one leading such projects like this.
Very cool. Love the example here. Would you think it would be a challenge for you to scale up if you have like a lot
Definitely.
more games?
Yeah. So if you are in the product design field, or if you get really like senior level or staff level, you probably will be asked to create some like visions, like how will our product be like in the future, and how will we put that vision to match with the business goal and the product team's OKR. So how do we connect that? So so usually when I make the visions, it will look much better, much simpler than what we are having today. But as the specialty for product designer here is you need to understand the road mapping. You need to understand how to properly work with product managers and set up priorities on different steps, and when we are different milestones, when we want to achieve this, when we want to achieve that, what is the most important from business perspective at this moment, and what should we do lastly. And usually some visual details or some like nice to have things will be pushed to very last time. So but I think as a startup, we are growing, showcasing some nice visuals to potential customers is vital to us. So I think I'm lucky to be the leading designer who can help contributing such work. So we get better in, signing new contracts and setting up web shops, setting up the payment system for these indie game studios.
Love it. Love the example. Thank you so much for sharing. All right. I think we have one more question in talking about designers' role and identity. Do you see shift, especially in like the gaming and entertainment industry, with all these like crazy AI tools or like different ways that people are consuming content now? A lot of short form content. Just in general, what do you feel about that role shifting, and what do you want to see that we do differently in the future to bring more meaning to the work?
Yeah, I can start with that question. The designer role in gaming and entertainment industry is always shifting, throughout from traditional to digital. From personal level, I have never seen the shift come so dramatic and so fast in the past. I would say 2-3 years. For the ones who don't know, the animation industry in Hollywood or in US in general has a big shakeup. We have like a big union protests and writers get on strike, and all of a sudden all the work seems to stop. So we are getting impacted not only by AI tools but also by short form content, and there's a question like, do we really need that much content? Do we need high level content? We can scroll down the TikTok for 2-3 hours and call it a day. So what do we do if my dream is to work for a studio like Ghibli and Disney and make high quality content? There's no so this is a question up for debate. What do I want to do differently? My choice is I basically left Hollywood. I kind of quit Disney, and basically sit down and ask myself, like, what do I want to do in the future? Meaning is hard. Finding the meaning, to me, it's a quite painful journey. To me, I think there are several things that give me meaning. If I can work on a project that has really high quality, or if I can make tons of money. These two are extremely hard and almost impossible. But the third is make the content that relate to myself. It's personal. If it is my idea, I think it has a meaning to stay in this world. So the the journey I took is to find out, who I am and what do I want to say to this world as a creator. Yeah. So that's my journey so far for the question. Yeah.
Yeah. For me, I'm really surprised how AI is kind of like empowering designers, or sometimes I feel like it's kind of the designer's position is kind of endangered because of AI. So I see two big shifts. I think AI help like speeding up the design workflows, but it also, you know, make our like design stuff or product design. You see things AI generated, like making things feel more homogeneous and growing pressure to prioritize like metrics over meaning. So I think I won't give any examples here, but on my daily basis, I am using AI tools a lot these days to streamline my design. So one thing I've been noticing is that I no longer do, you know, like wireframing, just because there are really good AI tools that help us making mid-fi designs more efficient, so you don't have to do that on your own. um, and I'm not actually too worried about such trend and the identity shifting, because at the end of the day, we are human beings. We are the one who are using the tools. You see all the technology as tools to help you achieve a goal. And I think the problem solving part and of design thinking, it doesn't disappear. You as a designer, you have that thinking, you have that in mind, so you can, you know, use such tools to achieve whatever you want to do. So I see that as a opportunity, even for gaming and entertainment industry, because we've been seeing some tools help game developers generating, you know, powered by AI, generating like game graphics, so they don't need to do everything on their own, or they just need to set up a guideline, and the machine will help them making things. And what game designers need to do is only to think about how the game look like, how the game mechanics is, and how to make it fun, how to make every detail delightful to the audience. So my understanding of that, like, if we have that mindset as designer, I don't think AI is gonna you know, make us feel make this position endangered.
Yeah, I really appreciate your optimistic. You know, you are saying like as a designer, AI is empowering. It's like it's like new word for me, because in my industry, people around me, basically, our view is AI is murdering artists. You know,
Yeah.
You have every industry has this pyramid tier. You know, top, mid, and low level artists. AI is crushing our mid tier and low tier artists. To me, from an outsider, like, if you have mid-level skills, why do you exist? Like, just get out, do something else, right? But they are there for a reason. You know, no grandmaster become grandmaster without crossing those fields. But AI is a really pushback for future generations to become. But you know, we adapt. You know, I think it's just I'm in the trend, so I'm a little bit confused about how the future goes. Definitely, it streamline a lot of productivity and super helpful. You know, I use AI to write stuff too. So
Yeah, exactly. I've been noticing a lot of people who are just, you know, dedicated illustrators. They might be affected by such trend, because the nature of business is high ROI, and they want to achieve the business goal as soon as possible with the least resource. So I kind of understand that. But for me, putting like the second question, like putting meaning into my work, I think my way is to correctly understand what I'm doing. So for example, if I'm achieving this business goal, great. I have this mindset, and the only goal for making this project is to achieve this business goal. And I apply some of my design thinking to that, and it's great. But for you know, you probably have like side hustle, you probably have like side projects just as I mentioned, I also do book design, and if that's the case, I mean, that's my way to maintain my passion to the creativity. To I know design is a creative job, but you don't want to lose your passion. But by only being asked by business to do things, maybe you feel burnout just because you don't have that much control. But in your heart, you're a designer, you're a creator, you at least have control on yourself to understand things correctly and do things in the right way and enrich yourself. So I think, yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah. So you're talking about also spend time doing your own passion project to make sure you don't burn out and you have creativity
Yeah.
express
Yeah.
somewhere else.
Yeah, but the most important thing is to understand what you're actually doing. So is business goal first? Is your personal thing first? I think you have an answer because you get paid.
Lovely. And I love the kind of two perspectives you guys have on AI. And I really agree, like how you're saying that it might be killing the people who are trying to enter this industry and trying to master the craft. But then now like AI is kind of taking that over. But at the same time, Chen, you're also right. Like the productivity aspect of it speeds things up. It helps us kind of get rid of a lot of Monday work that we have to do, the boring, repetitive work. So yeah, really curious to see how the trend is going to be and things going to shift out. We are kind of coming up close to time, and I do want to jump into the Q&A. We have quite a few questions in there, so let's take a look. And I see one targeted at you, Yunhao, for how do you just decided to do storyboard artists? Like, did you just love drawing, like, or you're passionate about cinematography and composition? How did you get started?
I do like drawing. And I draw pretty fast, but not all storyboard artists draw that fast. And it's not necessarily required. From So when I entered the animation industry, how it's set up in US is you kind of do a certain craft. So there are different things, like small things that you focus on and be really, really good at it. Storyboards, writing, and modeling, texture. You bring all your own creativity into each of the craft. When I was first trying to get into the industry, I found, as an artist trying to combine my skill in drawing and also storytelling, storyboard is a great mixture, and you're in charge of quite a bit of screen time. If you do animation, it's a couple seconds. If you do lighting, it's like a still image. So I find that quite rewarding. I love storytelling, and I was passionate about the film, so that's what I chose. Yeah.
Love it. I'm actually gonna, due to time, I'm probably gonna go from the most voted questions and down and see how many we can get through. So I have a question from Jacob asking, the game loops and gamification often rely on reward systems, which can be addictive. So how do designers in like entertainment and gaming spaces balance in designing fair systems with delight and business goal? I think maybe each of you could take this.
Yeah, I think I can answer that question. Yeah, I kind of agree that modern like mobile games, they rely on rewarding system. They rely on the addictive thing because they want to keep you playing, and that's why we are selling you items, we are selling you gems, we're selling you candies, we're selling you coins, like the game coins. It's like totally virtual coin, and you can only spend in your game. I understand that because Yunhao, you kind of like used to work for game companies too, so you know how these things could benefit the game studios, because selling standalone packaged games like traditional cartridge games. Actually, unless you are extremely famous, but usually indie game studios, they cannot really make that much money. So I would so first of all, I think from a business perspective, those indie game studios, they are struggling on their own financial situation too. They want to make some really cool storytelling on gaming and really delightful experience on products like that, but they also need to they need money to make them keep doing something like that. That's why there are rewarding systems and such mechanics are being invented. But Jacob, I kind of agree with you that people are getting addicted to such dopamine thing, like a digital thing. So I get it. So as designer, I think so ethically, I would try my best to bring a fairly delightful experience, but not overly delightful like the slot machine. If you see those like online casino apps, they're just crazy compared to a great amount of like video game or mobile games we are dedicated. So it's kind of different. We need to control like how delightful that is, and I really appreciate Nintendo because back to days when they released the Nintendo 3DS, because they have like the 3D 3D view feature, they will remind you like after using that for 1 hour, like take a break or something. So ethically, I really appreciate such design because it's also sustainable. Because for game developers, we don't want or platforms who are supporting game developers, we want sustainable money. We want you to play in a sustainable way. We don't want you to spend like 10K dollars like for a day and then just not coming. This is also not sustainable for us too. So that's my consideration when we doing such achieving such business goal, because we want sustainable money. We don't want short-term money. That's my answer.
Yeah, I can tell a story. When I was at Blizzard, I was attending a talk, and the game designer of the StarCraft 2 was giving a talk. At the time, Riot just released League of Legends, and they're selling skins and championships, making tons of money. And I asked them, like, StarCraft has tons of units, and why don't we sell the skins, like them? And he said, he's basically he think the gamers pay the package money, and they are entitled to have a unified experience. He doesn't want to differentiate the game players just because the amount of money that they pay, right? I think it's a very noble goal. What happens 2-3 years later is Riot makes tons of money, and they just basically uh, get all the high profile artists from Blizzard throwing astronomical salary money, right? So Blizzard changed after that. They sell skins. They pick cards, and it's a competition ultimately. Time has changed.
That's rough when your talents get just taken by the other company who's slowly taking over the market because of they're able to make a lot more profit of things like that. So, right, I think we'll maybe do one last short question. I think last one with 3 upvotes. We'll go for that one. Many design disciplines consider data as well as conduct usability and preference testing. These are strategies often used in addition to design review with peers to determine if the goal of the designs are being met. I think she also asked, like, how can you speak of design review as a director or like an entertainment artist? How does that look like?
Um, so In our pipeline, there's not that much audience testing. There's two. One is see if it has flashing, so it would trigger a trigger warning, right? So the other is like they have like a kids testing focus test. So we have kids and if especially if there is teenager or junior shows, if the kids will be glued onto the screen, do they remember the character and plot line, and that's pretty much about it. And as a director for four quadrant audience or more mature content, we actually don't do that much of review outside the company. Executives and business, other team will comes in, give notes, but ultimately you trust the director to make the right decision. And a lot of times great directors are visionary. You don't like we might not fully understand why they do things. It might work, but a lot of times it doesn't work. So it's a very risky business, I have to say. Yeah, that's why you see quite a few failed projects. So part of the reason because maybe we don't trust data as much as we should.
Makes sense. All right. I know we are coming up on time, and there are a couple other questions more focused on like how to get into the industry, or people who are product designers and like used to do gaming illustrations and want to get back in that space. Do you have any sort of quick tips on either build their portfolio to be more competitive, or how to build skills that help them stand out a little bit more in this, trying to get into this industry? Maybe just a quick tip.
Yes, I do have one tip for everyone who are trying to get into this industry, especially at least you probably are struggling looking for a job in this situation, and I think my advice will be showcase your identity, not only what you do at work, but your cultural identity, because everything I call identity is that so for example, you are getting the same assignment from the same company, doing the same project, but the cultural identity reflects how you do that differently. And I think everyone should from the high level, you should focusing on why you do that differently. What's your thinking behind that, instead of like applying a modern, UX methodology and showcase that, oh, I follow this. No, sometimes design relies on taste. It relies on people's preference and emotions. So product design is not purely, oh, I just follow Don Norman and I follow double diamond and that's it. That's not the case for product design. In order to be stand out, you need to have your personality in work. You have to explain why you think this way, because it reflects your cultural identity. So for me, I found my cultural identity from my childhood love for video games, and then I applied such delightful experience, apply those like micro interaction way of thinking to my daily job, and that made me different from when I tell us I do product design and I specialize in gamification and delightful experience. And using this as a tool, I can help you, make your enhance your DAU. I can make more money for your checkout screen. So you kind of need to pitch yourself in a way that connects your personal your specialty to what the business want to achieve. So that's my advice.
Love
Cool.
that. So
Awesome.
kind of having your personal touch, but also how that translates to the business goal. So
One more
very
thing
clear.
one more thing to add, I really want to mention that the reason why we call this like joysticks, the push and pull that moves us, is because as a designer, you are not the the sole creator in the product design world. You are a collaborator, but you are the key character. So you can define something, but you also need to understand like business, and you kind of to be on the same ship with the team, with other stakeholders. That's why that's what makes us different, and that makes what we do. Yeah.
Cool. All right. For me, for all the students who want to get into entertainment industry, my advice is turn around and run. Okay, it's a dying business. It's ultra competitive. But for the ones who stayed, even after I say this, I would say the most important thing is persistent. You know, comparing to 10 years ago, as a beginner, there's no end in sight. If you still, with all the discouragement, with knowing all the industry shakeup, you still want to do animation, you find this irresistible pulse in your heart that you want to tell a story and embrace the craft. I would say proceed and just be ready. This is going to be a long, hard journey, but I would say be able to create something that be remembered, have your name put on it is a great feeling, and there's nothing comparable in life, you know. So to all the ones who want to want to enter the entertainment industry, I would say good luck, have fun. And quote from one of my friend in animation is, if you're not ready to die for it, you might as well quit now.
Wow, very strong, very powerful quote right there. But thank you all so much for the questions, and thank you, Yunhao and Chen, for the answers. We are coming up on close to time, so I want to make sure I wrap things up and let you guys go before 6. We do have a giveaway for the gift card. I do see, I think, 3 upvotes on Rachel's questions. So let's go ahead, Rachel. I'll reach out to you, or you can send me a DM on Instagram or LinkedIn I'll send you the code for this gift card. And before you go, we do have a session coming up next with hacking the AI gap at work for Friends of Figma Miami. So check them out, definitely. And lastly, please, we would love to get your feedback on the World War. This is the first time we've done it. And if you fill it out before, for when you attend the other sessions, you don't have to do it again. But if this is the first time you're seeing this, take a minute to fill this out. It would be really helpful for us to improve our future sessions. But with that, thank you all so much for spending the evening with us today. And thank you again, Yunhao and Chen, for being here, sharing your stories. And yeah, thank you, everyone.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
everyone.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.